Is weird, odd, strange, or just plain bizarre is really your cup of tea? Then the Golden State Media Concepts Weird News Podcast will give you that fix. Can't believe it? Well, listen for yourself as we deliver the strangest news you definitely won't find on CNN or Fox. It's the Golden State Media Concepts Weird News Podcast.
Welcome to the GSMC Weird News Podcast with your favorite host, Ryan Holloway, brought to you by and presented on the GSMC Podcast Network to fulfill all of your podcast needs. Happy Friday 13th. I don't know if this is the perfect day for a Weird News episode, but this might be the perfect day for a Weird News episode. Even though these episodes usually run on Mondays, today is a special Friday the 13th episode for you guys. Just wanted to make sure that I was here for this particular day. I don't know how many Friday the 13th there are going to be this year, but I got you a show for this one. For this one, we did that for you, just for you. I found a couple interesting news stories I want to share with you guys today. We got to say goodbye today to the man with the longest fingernails. Not goodbye to him, but goodbye to his disgusting 29-foot fingernails. He finally cut those off. I also have a story about a model who decided she was going to model next to sharks and got bit and then was surprised. And I also have a few tips for you guys about how to stay safe in your bathroom. Are you ready for all those? Sure. But before I get to that, I want to address something that I heard today on the news. Apparently there is a bill. There's a bill that is being developed by people, and it's a petition. It's going to the Supreme Court and all types of courts and the flight aviation companies, all this stuff. They want to make it mandatory to make airline seats a particular size because they're saying the airline seats are getting too small and the airlines are charging too much for these itty bitty seats. Now, my problem is this. When I fly on like a cheap airline and the seat is really bad, I complain in my mind. I'm like, you know what? This seat is terrible, but this flight costs me $7 and like 5 pistachios. That's how much I paid to be on this flight. So, I mean, you get what you pay for. And, you know, it's really interesting because I'm supposed to be taking a flight to Costa Rica in January, and I think in February, one of them. And I decided, I was like, you know what, for the first time in my life, I'm gonna treat myself. I'm gonna fly first class. I feel like I deserve it. It's not that expensive. I want to do what I want to do. If I had to sleep on the plane and be on the plane for all of, 12 hours, why not, indulge a little bit? And then I heard this story and was like, wow, good thing I decided to do this. Somebody said during the story when they were reporting it, they're like, I don't know why these seats are getting smaller and smaller. It's not like they're making enough space to put more seats on the airline. It's since 1978, the seats have gotten 3 inches closer. And I'm like, 3 inches closer? They've gotten closer? Well, you know what? That's what I figured out. I was watching a bunch of YouTube videos about basically first class and business class on an unrelated airline. I'll say the airline. I don't mind. I was looking at flights on American Airlines. Their flights on their business and first class, they're comparable. They're like the same kinda, but the seats are incredible. The seats do incredible things. The seat lounge is back. They've got a little closet for your shoes. They give pajamas. There's a little hook to put your jacket on. Did I mention that the seat goes backwards? They give you all these foods, this fine ice cream, all this nice stuff. And I was like, where do they got all this room? There's even a little area where you can go into like the first class lavatory and change into your pajamas. And I'm like, where do they get all this room on the plane? How is this happening? Then I heard this story about how since 1978 the seats have gotten an average of 3 inches closer together. And I said, oh, it makes sense now. It makes sense. So I just want to say, for those of you people that continue to fly coach, that want to pay to be in a sardine can, that's fine. Keep paying that because apparently they're going to make the coach seats smaller to make the first class seats bigger. Because I made a personal decision today. Now, this was like a week ago. I made a personal decision that after my next birthday, which is in like 3 weeks, I'm only going to fly first class if I'm on the plane for more than 3 hours. That may seem like, I don't know, an arrogant first world thing to say, but I don't want to sit in that. I don't want to bring a suitcase on a plane and then sit inside of my suitcase for I don't know, 10 hours. I don't want to do that. So I'm not sure why I wanted to share that with you guys. That's what happened today. That's what happened. Listen, I want to say RIP to the longest nails in the world. Apparently this gentleman in India, I made sure I wanted to get his name correct or even say his name at all. A lot of times I tell you guys these stories and I don't really give you a name of the person because a lot of time it may be something embarrassing and it may not be something that someone wants to hear about later on. Like, oh yeah, Bob Jones was caught stealing hot dogs at Winter Schnitzel and now he's going to do life for embezzling hot dogs. I don't know. Sometimes people don't want their name all in the news like that. But apparently this guy, Shrinder Chalal, who had the longest nails in the history, they were 29 feet, 10 inches. He's been growing them for 66 years. In 1952, he began growing his nails out when he was 14 because a teacher scolded him for breaking a nail. When I read the story, I was under the impression that maybe they were really long because maybe he was sick and then couldn't cut his nails for a while and it was in tribute to something. I thought maybe that's something to do with like a relative that passed on, or maybe it was like a tradition type of thing. You're telling me that your nails are 29 feet to spite somebody? To spite someone? Now, I'm all for world records. I'm all for world records. I'm all for everyone having an opinion and doing what they want to do and pushing themselves to the limit. I'm all for that. But I say you should do it for yourself. You got to do it for yourself, because if you were 14 and you're 66 now and your teacher scolded you when you were 14 for breaking a nail, I have a feeling that teacher may not be alive anymore. I just have a feeling like if you're 14, let's say worst case scenario, let's say best case scenario, the teacher's like 24 and you're 14. Let's say they're 24 and now you're 66. That would make that teacher what? 76? Maybe that teacher's still alive, but I don't think that teacher's nails are on your mind. I don't know. I have a lot of questions about this situation because I feel like, I don't know if you guys remember this. I'm not sure who's listening to this that may be about the same age as me or not. But I remember a long time ago in one of my textbooks, a while ago, in like maybe middle school, social studies, I think they called it. I believe I heard of this guy who had these really long nails. I feel like I heard this guy when I was younger who had these really long nails. I don't know why it was in social studies. I don't know why. But I feel like for some reason, I know why. Social studies is like history/biology or whatever, right? So we were talking about, I don't know, the way nails and bodies worked or whatever. And I believe on a page that this guy with these really long nails. I think it was him. I feel like it was this guy, because there can't be another guy, right? Was there another guy whose nails were like 29 foot 11 inches before this guy were 29 feet 10 inches? There couldn't be another guy, right? I don't think so. Anyway, so my point in saying that is, when I was in middle school, I think this guy's claim to fame was, hey, I got these really long nails. I haven't been in middle school for over a decade, and I feel like that's always been his thing. So my question now is, what do you do now, though? Right? I mean, he had to go to New York to get like a special surgery to get the nails taken off. A special surgery, like not a surgery, but they had to use like a whole saw, like a real life sawzall to cut these nails off. And once you get those cut off, then what do you do now? Like what's your life about? Here's the thing. This isn't like he cut them off because he got tired of them or because he had to go to a job. I'm going to tell you guys why he cut them off as soon as I get back. Give me a few seconds. We'll play a few quick commercials. We'll pay a bill. Then when I get back, I'm going to blow your mind. Be right back.
Check out the show built around the women of MMA. From the UFC to the extreme cage fighting, we got the fights covered.
Listen.
It's the Golden State Media Concepts Women's MMA Podcast. The latest news of upcoming fights, discussions of previous matches. Join us as we talk to and about the biggest names in women's mixed martial arts, past, present, and future. When it's the women's fight game, you know where to listen to. The Golden State Media Concepts Women's MMA Podcast.
Welcome back to the GSMC Weird News Podcast. As promised, I told you guys I was going to explain why the individual who had the 29 feet nails, why he cut them off. And what's your guess? You have a guess, producer? I'm going to let my producer guess. What do you think? No? No, that's not why. He had to get a job? Okay, my producer said he had to get a job, which, I mean, that might be true. If your nails are 29 feet long, it's hard to go on the job interviews, and it's hard to go on job interviews with your nails that long. It's hard. It's probably even hard to put on jackets. From what I've seen of the pictures of I don't know how he gets on his clothes. I'm not sure. Maybe he had a job interview coming up, had to get things taken care of. I had a situation like that. I was growing my hair out really long. I thought I wanted to have dreads. Then a job interview come up, and I was like, do I keep these baby starter dread things in my hair, or do I cut this off and just go in and at my full potential? And I was like, you know what? I'll look better with my hair short. So I cut it short. And I got the job, and life, blah, 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 blah. But no, that's not why. It's not because he needed a job. It's because he couldn't bend his hand anymore. He couldn't bend his hand. His fingers couldn't bend. Now, I'm not sure what part. Now, you haven't been able to bend your hand or lift your fingers for a while, right? So I wonder what it was that just got him ticked off at this time. I wonder what it could have been at this time. Like, you know what? I've had enough. I can't do this anymore. And just cut him off. I wonder what task came up where it's like, you know what? This is getting out of hand. And I mean, I respect it, kinda, because after a while of doing the same thing, you kind of, even though it's become your identity, sometimes it's uncomfortable. Because I question what this guy's going to do now. Because, I mean, let's say, for a professional athlete, right? Say they retire from the game and they're not playing anymore. But they still go place. People still recognize them. They have a jersey. They're still, I don't know, 6'5", 6'9". You still know who they are, right? You still know who they are. You don't have to be that tall. If I saw Allen Iverson right now, I know who he was. If I saw Jerry Rice right now, I would know who he was. This guy with these long nails, I have no idea who Shredder Chalal is. I have no idea who he is. And now he's just 100% anonymous. I hope that's what he was going for. One would assume. Because I mean, if you're walking around with this thing, if you guys get a chance, please Google it. Just if you get a chance to Google, just type in nails 29 feet long, India. Just type that in, and you'll see the picture of these disgusting nails. So I mean, more power to this guy. I hope that his life gets better, because I don't really see what the plus was in walking around looking like that. I can see when they got kind of long, like when they were like, okay, these are kind of long. Look at me. Look what I could do. I could see that. But once they got, I don't know. We all do stuff. All this stuff. I've been working on this thing where, this is the next story, guys, by the way. I have a tip for you. I've been working on this thing where when I'm done using the bathroom, I close the toilet, right? Wherever you're at, if you're at your home, if you're at anyone else's home, please close the toilet after you use the restroom. Please close the toilet. No one wants to look in there and see that. But you want to know what else you should do? A study recently said that, you know what, if I'm going to say a study said, I should have the exact numbers, right? But I don't have the numbers, but it said, I don't know, it was like 1 billion germs. When you flush a toilet and the top is open, there's 1 billion germs that spread all over the bathroom. And that's why some bathrooms have a water closet, right? Like you have the toilet inside of a room, and then you close that door, and then you have your sinks outside of that door. That's why a lot of houses have those, because you shouldn't have the toilet that close to, your sink and stuff. But all this can be avoided by closing the toilet, then flushing it. Don't flush the toilet and then watch your departures depart. There's no reason to do that. There's no reason to. I know you want to say goodbye. I know you want to wave. I know you want to make sure they're going to be okay. I know you want to wave them away as they go off to summer camp and go enjoy a new life. But please close the toilet. Just whatever you do, don't leave the toilet open while you're flushing it, because there's a bunch of germs that will go on your toothbrush. They'll go on your lip. They'll go on the ceiling. They'll go all over the place. So close the toilet first, because if you don't, apparently that's how the Walking Dead virus is going to get spread. And next thing you know, zombie apocalypse. Rick Grimes has to kill a bunch of people, and then we're there. That may be a massive exaggeration, but just heed my warning. heating my morning. Second tip before my next story. I'm going to tell you guys about this model getting eaten by this shark. Well, not eaten, but she got bit. I'll tell you about it in a second, but I have another tip for you. I know it's hot outside, so you're being a responsible individual by making sure that you're hydrated. I appreciate you guys being hydrated. I know it's hot outside. And what are you going to do if you're not drinking water? You may, from what I gather, if you get heat exhaustion while driving, it can be just as bad as driving under the influence. And I've done a lot of stories about people driving under the influence. In fact, last week I did a story about a man who was driving under the influence and got pulled over, got arrested, contacted his friend. His friend showed up drunk to pick him up. Then she got a DUI. So I don't recommend anyone go out willy-nilly driving under the influence, but you have to drink water while you drive. Now, there's a YouTube video that shows if you leave a water bottle in your car at the right angle, the water bottle's plastic can act as a magnifying glass, like a magnifying glass, or like glasses, or like a bottle. And it can heat up and it can start a fire in your car and your car will explode. Now, when I watched this video, I was wondering, I don't know. I'm giving you guys this public service announcement as my part of being like a responsible citizen. But in reality, I don't believe that, right? Like, I don't believe that you can leave a water bottle in your car and then it can explode and cause a fire. I don't believe that. I really don't. And I didn't watch the video. I probably should watch the video, but I don't watch just any YouTube video I'm given because I feel like you can put anything. I feel like you can put anything on YouTube at least once. I don't know. You can do. How do I say this? I'm not going to say someone will go through the trouble of making a fake YouTube video, but I'm saying people go through the trouble of making fake YouTube videos. So I wasn't going to watch it. I don't really feel like leaving a bottle of water in your car is going to make your car explode. I don't think leaving an empty bottle of water in your car is going to make your car explode. I don't think so. I feel like if that was possible, I would have learned it from Bill Nye the Science Guy or MacGyver, or who are those guys who used to be on A&E? The Mythbusters. I think the Discovery Channel. I don't know. Mythbusters would have told me if it was true or not as well. So me personally, I don't believe this, but if you're concerned about it, I mean, you guys cannot have water in your car. Like you can do that if you want. I'm not going to judge you if you're someone that wants to no longer keep water in your car because there might be an explosion. I'm not 100% sure. That's fine. I won't judge you. Do whatever you want to do. So now that we're done with those two public service announcements, make sure you close the toilet and then flush it, or else you'll get the zombie virus. And then make sure you don't leave a bottle of water in your car because I'm going to take a quick commercial break. When I get back, I'm going to tell you why if you're an Instagram model, then you should get a new job if it's not paying you enough for you to not swim in the water with sharks to take pictures. I'll be right back.
Check out the show built around the women of MMA. From the UFC, Invicta FC, Bellator, and one championship. We got the fights covered. It's the Golden State Media Concepts Women's MMA Podcast. The latest news of upcoming fights, discussions of previous matches. Join us as we talk to and about the biggest names in women's mixed martial arts. Past, present, and future. When it's the women's fight game, you know where to listen to. The Golden State Media Concepts Women's MMA Podcast.
Welcome back to the GSMC Weird News Podcast with your favorite host, Ryan Holloway, brought to you by and presented on the GSMC Podcast Network to fulfill all of your podcasting needs. I have a question for you guys. Let's say we're all on vacation together. We're all on the boat and you're taking fancy pictures. And I say, hey, you want to take a really good picture? I have an idea. There's some pictures. There's some sharks over here that are in water and they're nursing sharks. And basically what that means is, like, you know, they're typically harmless to humans and animals unless they're stepped on or bothered. So you want to get in the water with these sharks and take this picture for your gram? You want to do that? Let's say I ask you to do that. Would you do it? I just want to know, because before I judge this person or, criticize them or say they had bad judgment, I just want to find out what my audience would do. I'd like to know. I'd like to know what you guys would do if you were in that situation. Okay. Well, apparently that's what happened to this young Instagram model, Katrina Zersky. She was on vacation with her boyfriend and his family, and some locals told her about an opportunity to swim with some sharks. And everything was fine, but then she got in the water, and when she leaned back to basically get this picture, which, the picture came out pretty good. She's in the water with sharks, but basically she got bit by a shark, and the shark pulled her into the water. She's a trained surfer and scuba diver, so she said she credits her quick thinking to getting out of the situation. Here's my thing, right? First of all, I want to credit her, because she also said it's nobody's fault. It's not the shark's fault. I was in its home, and it's just a blessing to be around those animals, because it's a once in a lifetime opportunity. And she's right. So I 100% credit her, because me personally, I take issue with individuals going into animal habitats and then getting mad at animals for doing animal things. That's all I'm saying. That's just my thing. I don't really like when people do that. When I told you guys the other day about how that grandma had to kill the bobcat, that was different. The bobcat ran up inside the grandmother's garden and then attacked the grandma. She had no choice but to kill that bobcat. And I told you guys about another story when a woman who was in her garden in India got eaten by a whole snake. Yes, she was eaten by a snake in her garden. That's not her fault. I don't necessarily blame her for that. I do blame you as a grown man if you climb into a tiger cage, though. If you, as a grown man, climb into a tiger cage to mess with the tiger, take pictures with the tiger, ask the tiger for cereal, if you do any of that stuff, I feel like you deserve what the universe has in store for you at that time. Right? That's one of these situations where if Katrina was eaten by this whole shark, then I'm not going to say I would have the most sympathy for Katrina. However, I feel like you take the same vibe. You leave with the same vibes that you take in. Right? So when Katrina's attitude was, you know what? I got bit by the shark. It's not the shark's fault. It's my fault. I was in the shark's home. It was a once in a lifetime opportunity. It was great to be around those animals. That's the energy she took in there, to respect the sharks. And the sharks is bitter, like, hey, you know who home this is, right? They're like, yeah, I'm sorry, I just want to get this picture. Then she bounced out. That's how you got to respect certain situations. I feel like people that jump into tiger cages and get eaten by tigers, they're being mischievous just from the beginning. If you just hop over a fence to go mess with the tiger, then you're messing with the tiger. If you get in the water to take a picture near some sharks, there's a possibility that you just want a picture. Katrina got bit by a whole shark. My question is, the way they described this whole situation before she got bit by the shark, they basically said that the sharks are harmless unless they're stepped on or bothered. Now, if you see this picture of her in this water with these sharks, right? There's a school of them. If you look at this picture, I want to say there's about 10 sharks. Now, if you get in an area that has 10 sharks, if you're in the water with them, I think you might be bothering them. I'm gonna go out on the limb. I don't know the type of human tolerance that sharks have. I don't have a high human tolerance. I don't know how high shark human tolerance is. I don't necessarily know what bothers a shark. I just feel like if someone says, hey, those sharks are harmless unless they're bothered or stepped on, I feel like that statement is pretty general for anything. Right? Right? Hey, man, that tiger is harmless unless you bother him. Well, what's bothering him? Me just being food in his face? Is that bothering him? Because bothering is very subjective. If you put a pizza in front of me and tell the pizza, hey, pizza, Ryan is harmless unless you bother him. Well, you just being a pizza and being here covered in cheese is bothering me. Now I will eat you, Mr. Pizza. I'm sorry. I'm just saying that whole they're harmless unless bothered is just not a very good description. It's not a very good description in my personal opinion. It's really not. But I want to say that I respect Katrina, as I said earlier, because she went into a situation with good energy, so she left with good energy. She said she's going to respect the home of the Sharks. She got a little bite, and she's fine. And she came out with the same energy that she went in with, so things were positive. And that's why within this situation, I'm planning to leave you guys with the same energy that I originally came in with. This will be my last episode hosting the GSMC Weird News Podcast. There will be more GSMC Weird News Podcasts. It just will not be hosted by me. I greatly appreciate anyone that has spent at least 1 second listening to any one of these episodes. I appreciate you. I appreciate you letting me bless your ears with these tremendous, outstanding stories. Some ostentatious, some disgusting, some terrific, some horrendous. You've been an excellent, outstanding, awesome, exponentially great audience. I don't have many more superlatives. I feel like my vocabulary, I'm very confident in my ability to create words, but I don't have a way to express a measurement of greatness that your ears have provided me with. So with that, I'll be signing off. Ryan Holloway. You guys live long, prosper, watch out for potholes. This has been Ryan Holloway on the GSMC Weird News Podcast.